Look, I think at the end of the day, a commercial agreement is a commercial agreement, and there are terms that both parties are bound to follow. And I'd like to reiterate what Ben said, that we did not do a thorough enough work. In fact, we went to sleep after signing the contract, and we were expecting the party to have followed through on most of the conditions subsequent, without realizing that we needed the actual state to facilitate, like, licenses, et cetera. So eventually what that then happened was that the so-called 45 days between the signing of the contract and, the things being delivered ended up being pushed forward and forward and forward, down the line. So we cannot absolve as a state or as a government ourselves of responsibility in causing this harm in the first place. And it shows various levels of failures along that, governance value chain. And I think realistically, this whole idea about prosecution and so all of that, I don't think it will come to anything. It will come to naught. Because of the way the political system and the governance structure and things work, like, I am inclined not to believe that anybody would actually be prosecuted on the basis of, whatever has happened. But we will end up paying the money anyway. Now, going back to the point you started me off with what Dr. Kobna Donko said, we need to understand the decisions that were made within the circumstances of the time. You had a power crisis, citizens were up in arms on the street, there's doomsday, you need emergency power, so you go and negotiate those terms of the agreement, however bad they may or may not have been. But at the end of the day, we committed ourselves to ensuring that the work is delivered. And when you read the agreement, it's very clear that GPGC did some work. And they did some work up to a point that you now say you're going to cancel the contract. But the cancellation of the contract is now on the basis of this technical committee's report. And like Ben, I have very serious concerns about some of the numbers. So for example, the 18 million, nowhere in the report, when you look at it, they establish or give us a basis of arriving at 18 million as the early termination fee. When you factor in the work that the company has done and you read the letter and spirit of the agreement, clearly, if we terminated early, we're going to pay much more than that. And if I were advising then, it would have been to find a way to actually renegotiate the terms or maybe even push it forward, just like we've done with a number of the other contracts, rather than canceling it outright. Because here we're paying $170 million, but not a single megawatt of power has been added onto the grid.